Since the time that I started social media, 2021, I have never had to make a phone call. Phone calling is illegal
It's illegal.
in Dubai. Yes,
Oh
it
my
is.
god, I didn't know that.
If you sell the wrong product one time, you've lost that client forever. You're in sales. Leave your feelings at home.
Hello everyone on Checked with another episode. Today I have a person that is very special. I mean, I know a lot of realtors, real estate agents in Dubai, but there's only one that you can find on a Harley. Today is ZOHEB with me. How are you doing?
I'm all right, man. Thank you for having me.
So ZOHEB, I'm happy you're with me today on Checked. I mean, we met a long time ago. I don't know if you remember in 2019, if I'm not wrong. And you gave me such a good insight about real estate. And I was like, this guy, he's very smart. I don't know if you remember that insight that you gave me.
Refresh my memory. Where was this?
So basically, it was in Emirates Mall, and I was with District 1. I was working as a promoter.
And I was at the stand of probably Miras.
Exactly.
Next door to you.
And you approached...
I remember.
Yeah, you approached the stand, and we were speaking. I was like, this guy, he sounds like he know what he's talking about. And I remember you told me, I asked you, I was like, ZOHEB, everybody's telling me that time there was a lot of offer. I mean, there was like more offer than demand.
The market was different at the time.
Yeah, and I was like, why? And you told me that what's happening is like they're regulating the prices. So that's why they're pushing for more developers. And like this, the prices will drop and more investors will come in the market. And this is how it works. And I was like, this guy, he's someone.
I'm surprised you remember, man. That was a long time ago.
So between like that time in 2019 up till today, 2024, like how is it going? Like, what's the progress?
It's going good so far. I'm sure you've seen me on my socials. I've been aggressively been pushing it, working extremely consistently, trying to do what I do on a day-to-day basis. I changed 3 different agencies during that period.
All right.
So I was working with one which is very popular but not so active. And then obviously I decided that, you know what, I need to up my game. And then I targeted the top, I want to say 8 to 10 agencies where I wish to work or with whom I wish to work. I managed to reach that. Again, 2 years later, I decided that no, I need to upgrade further. And then I found the last agency that I worked with. And that's when I decided that, you know what, my content is really helping me reach the right kind of people because of what I do on social media. Like the same way I gave you advice 5 years ago is the same thing I do on my Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, or whatever. So that's played a very, very important role in my life. And fast forward 5 years from 2019, today we have our own agency.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to know actually as well.
Yeah, my wife helps me run.
Congrats, by the way.
Thank you. My wife helps me run the shop. I do the business development and, you know, obviously the attracting the clients, bringing them to the table. And we have a team of 7 agents who we're working with. And alhamdulillah, so far so good. Small agency, but I think we're doing all right.
I'm very proud of you. We all start small.
Thank you.
Inshallah, we'll go big.
Thank you.
So basically, I just want to... I mean, a lot of people, I'm sure, in the real estate industry, they know who you are. I mean, you're pretty known. But I just want to know, like, regardless of real estate and before real estate, I mean, who was ZOHEB? Like, who is ZOHEB without real estate or before coming to real estate, the real estate world?
I've been doing real estate for a while now. Of course, not on the screen as much because no one really knew what was social media. I did a lot of resale back in the day.
Resale?
As in secondary market properties. A very less off-plan. So there's an area called The Villa. I don't know if you know about it. Next to Arabian Ranches 3 on Dubai Alain Road. So that was one area I was quite popular in. I knew the area inside out. And a very complicated community to drive around in. So I want to just show you. So if I open up Google Maps, and if I open the Villa development, right? So that's the Villa next to Arabian Ranches 3. But if you zoom in, you'll see all these little blue boxes that I've put in there. Yeah. So if I wanted to drive around the community, it was extremely complicated. So I'm talking probably 2018, 2019.
But sorry, let me just... Maybe I didn't phrase my question properly. I'm talking before, even, like, for example, since when you're in Dubai?
I'm in Dubai since 1990.
90, 1990.
So probably 32, 33 years now.
So that's what I want. That's what I wanted to know. So you've like, I mean, I think you speak Arabic. In this case, you're about to speak Arabic.
I can't get a conversation running, but I can speak just to get my way around.
All right. Like, so you're brought up here in the UAE.
All my life, yes.
All your life. That's I didn't know about that. I didn't know about and before becoming a real estate agent. I mean, you graduated from uni and you started in real estate, or?
I did not graduate from university. I am a college dropout from University of Wollongong. So they had invited me, I think 2 years ago, to come and speak to the kids over there with my colleagues Farouk, and I think Nima was there with us.
All right.
Two other very popular real estate agents in the market. But I did about 6 months of university in Wollongong.
All right.
Well, I paid for 6 months. 3 months later, I went to the dean and I was like, listen, you know what? I don't think this is for me. My parents said, yalla, give me the refund. We're done. So they gave me the refund. I took that money and I went and enjoyed. My parents didn't know that I was dropping out.
Okay, so it was trouble for you after.
It was trouble for me throughout. Even high school was the same. I barely finished. I changed almost 4 schools before I finally graduated.
Okay.
So I got kicked out of one school. I failed 2 years of my high school, which I repeated. So grade 5 and grade 7 was done twice for me.
So school were not for you?
School and college I don't think was for me, yeah.
All right, and then you decided to drop out?
Decided to drop out,
and
yeah.
you drop out, and after you dropped out, you went and you had some fun and all of that. That's what you're saying. And after that, what did you do? Did you do real estate, or what did you do? What was the first job, let's say, you had?
I got into real estate really early. It's a funny story. So I was going to share it on the conference in the US, which I'm going to be speaking on. But I was sitting with a bunch of friends, and their parents are quite well-to-do, right? Very influential people here in Dubai, Indians as well. So one of their fathers was talking about this land parcel that he was trying to acquire. And he's also a real estate developer from back in the day, right? So you're talking early 2005, 2006, like that. So we were just hanging out, a bunch of friends, having our beers or whatever. And I heard these guys talking. So this guy's father and his friend. So I went up to him. I'm like, you know what? You're trying to acquire this piece of land. Do you mind if I try? Obviously, the first reaction was he started laughing. He's like, I've been trying for so long. I'm not able to get it. How are you going to get it? So I said, no, let me push. Let me try my luck, that. He eventually agreed. So he said, okay, what do you need? I said, I need a check of 1 million dirhams so I can go and, demand my space and all that. He finally gave me the check. Started walking away. Of course, I heard him and his friend, giggling at the back. Hey, look at this kid, he wants to go and do this.
They always laugh in the beginning. It's okay.
Right. And it's okay, man. I mean, for him to trust me with a check of 1 million dirhams back in 2005, luckily his son was a very good friend of mine, right? We were like really, really close. So I took that, tried my luck, struggled for about 4 to 5 months, bribing random people on the way, polishing the right hands and this and that. And eventually I managed to get the piece of land that I wanted for this guy.
All right.
And once we got that piece of land, a month later, I got paid my commission, which was 2% of the property value, of the land value at that time.
Okay.
So for a 22, 23-year-old, seeing a check of almost 200,000 dirhams, my eyes just popped.
Do you think that was the spark that kept you pushing in the real estate industry?
That was it. That was the point where I was like, you know what? Holy shit. Yeah, that's a lot of money for a young kid.
That's what I'm going to do for the rest of my life, probably.
Probably, yeah, if it allows me.
Okay, so that's how you started. So because, there is a lot of people that comes to Dubai, and obviously what they do, they go for real estate. They become real estate agents. They don't have experience in sales. They never did sales before. And they hear that real estate is like a domain where you're going to make a lot of money. And the first thing they do, they take the risk, and whatever savings they brought with them from their countries, they keep them aside, because in real estate you rarely find a real estate agency that pays you. Everything is based on commission, and they jump into that like real estate. What do you think is a good step, or it's better to do other domains of sales, like I don't know, retail, or you do some sales jobs before jumping into real estate, or you can jump directly in? What's your idea about this?
If you've never done sales before, and real estate is something that really attracts you, not because today the market is hot, then I would advise that if you want to focus on the domain of real estate, try to grab the opportunity with one of the developers first. Because one, they'll pay you a salary. Two, you will be meeting agents every single day who will bring clients to you, right? So you've never done sales, but real estate is where you want to be. So choose the developer office first where you want to work, because when you sit across that real estate agent who's brought the client in to meet with you, you will understand the dynamics of how real estate agents speak. But if you're okay to compromise on, let's say, I don't want to get into real estate, I want to learn sales first, then obviously go and get a retail job or go and get a door knocking job where you can do sales, learn the art of it, how it works. Simultaneously, you'll make some salary as well, which will help you build your savings. Because in real estate, you could have in the first month a couple of 100,000 dirhams, let's say, in commissions, or you could have 6 months of no business.
True, that's real estate. It's all the majority of people, they say after 6 months things will start to work. So you have to have 6 months of. Is that true? By the way, everybody's talk about this, 6 months, this magical 6 months that you have to go through, and then everything will be all right. Do you think this is a valid advice? I mean, do you concur with this advice?
I agree to a certain extent, but it doesn't mean 6 months of just showing up, having a seat, and expecting magic to happen. It's 6 months of constant grinding. That's only when, exactly, 6 months of hard work, 6 months of doing the same thing every single day without letting it affect you. Only then are you going to be able to get results. Average results or phenomenal results, that's a different thing altogether. But it's on the individual. You could probably crack in the first 3 months.
Yeah, I mean, luck is also there, if I'm not wrong.
I believe the harder you work, the luckier you get.
Yeah, I mean, as
you
they
can
say,
call luck
opportunity meeting preparation.
Correct. Luck isn't something that I'm sitting every day for 6 months. Hey, Zoheb told me wait for 6 months. I'm going to sit here every day for 6 months and hopefully luck will come my way.
Okay, so, I mean, to come back to your story, you said you started around 2005. You did your first deal and that was the spark. But, as a beginner in that field, we all make mistakes in the beginning. I mean, if you want to share with us a mistake that you did and you learned a lot from, like back in the days, I'm talking about in your beginnings, very, very beginnings. Do you remember any mistake you made and from that mistake you learned something?
Obviously, when you're fresh, you're young, you're energetic, you want to make sales, right? It's a new industry you've tapped into. And you start seeing the commission check coming in. So you're just like, okay, you know what? I just need to keep selling because I have to make money, keep making money. But over the first couple of years, I realized that I don't need to be selling anything and everything. Because if you sell the wrong product one time, you've lost that client forever.
Oh, okay.
Right? So let's say if I walk into your store and you sell me something that I don't really need, but you somehow convinced me into buying it because your opinion was, wow, this is amazing. And I was like, okay, you know what? This guy's saying it's amazing. I'll buy it. But once I realized that that person has lost a lot of money based on what I recommended to him, so I'm going to lose that client. Once you lose him, you have to go back out into the market to hunt for a new client because you've lost one already. So this is a mistake that I made in the earlier days, which I realized that, you know what? Yes, we all want to sell because that's where we make our money from. But it isn't always necessary to keep selling anything and everything that shows up. Like a lot of real estate brokers do, because we are brokers at the end of the day.
Yeah.
The meaning of a broker is to make a transaction. There's a buyer, there's a seller, connect them together and take your money.
So it's about trust. So like you need to build trust with your clients by telling them no sometimes, even if it means you will lose money.
Even if it hurts your pocket.
Yes,
all right.
Sure. That's something. I mean, that's something that you don't hear a lot in all fields. Yeah, everybody will just want to sell.
Bear in mind, you are you are aware that you are going to actually stop making sales. It's going to slow down your system. It's going to slow
Yeah.
down the income that's coming in. But what it gives you in return is one is long-term investors.
All right.
You don't go out and scavenge every day hunting for fresh meat. And you have these long-term investors that keep coming back to you because every property they've bought from you in the past, they've made money. So for them, you are the only person that shows up. No matter how many other real estate agents call them today,
Yeah.
offering whatever, right? Offering anything on the table. They will hear them out. And then they'll call me and be like, hey, Zoheb, I saw this amazing property this other broker told me about. Can we buy it?
Oh, okay. So even if someone else pitch for them a project, they'll always come back to you because they already trust you now.
Because it's loyalty, right?
Yeah,
I
loyalty.
made sure that I took care of their investment, and I made sure that if they didn't make any money, at least they didn't lose any money.
So basically, I mean, in this very hostile market of real estate, I mean, loyalty is what people are looking for, like as real estate agents. I mean, what sets you apart? Like excluding what you just told me now, is there other things that set you apart from the typical real estate agent or realtor?
I don't know, man. My wife and I, what we try to do is when we sit with our clients across the table, before we dive into any project or any area or any developer, we try to do a lot of research around the area. Like we dive in deep, we understand what's the new road networks coming up in that area. How do we get to know that? From the Dubai municipality or the RTA planning board.
All right.
We even have a drawing of one of the maps of what's going to happen to Dubai land. A drawing which was made in 2021. It's just a preliminary drawing,
Yeah.
and we have that drawing, which we managed to get. But what that helped us do is, with the way the road network was designed to come into play in the next 3 to 4 years,
Yeah.
we were able to advise our clients that, hey, this particular development here, we need to buy now. Because in the next 5 years, price is going to skyrocket because it's cutting down the time from Al Manara exit, which is next to Dubai Hills Estate, down to Dubai land by almost 10 minutes.
So what you're telling me is that what sets you apart is that you can read trends before they come, or you can know what's gonna trend in the future, and you can suggest that to your clients by knowing what's the plans of Dubai developers and
More like, let's say, for instance, the Road and Network Authority or the Road and Transport Authority.
all right.
Right? We try to dive in deep and try to get information out that's going to be helpful for our investors. So we can advise them well in advance that this is a new road network that's coming
Yeah.
up with a new flyover on each side, and our project sits here. Let's buy into this today, because currently to get here, it takes about 30 minutes. But with this road network, it's going to be down to 10 minutes.
And like a lot of people, they don't go that deep into understanding the project. I mean, before asking you this question of what sets you apart, I was thinking, like, oh, Zoheb, if I'm gonna ask him this question, he will be telling me about social media. But I think that's far more important than social media, even though social media is still a very important tool. But what you did in the social media, I mean, your take on real estate is somehow comedic. You use a lot of humor, which I love.
Thank you.
And that's what's special about you. I mean, if you want to ask my opinion, that's what I see special about you, because you use comedy in selling real estate. How is it working for you?
How do I put it across? Since the time I aggressively started, so Asad and I started doing social media.
By the way, Asad, he's in the
Asad,
background.
He's the guy for the
Yeah.
content, who was one of the first driving parties to push me into social media for real estate.
Well, that's the best advice, I think, in your career, or the
Yes,
best
sir.
push you had
Yes,
in your
sir.
career.
That's
if
why
I'm not wrong.
he has most of my office space converted to a studio.
Cool. Like, I will be reappearing here again, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But we started, I think, 2020. Right, Asad? Around 2020? 2019.
2019.
So Asad and I started around 2019. We used to shoot long form content for YouTube.
Okay. So you
And-
start with YouTube.
Yes, we did
Alright.
start with YouTube. But of course, that was a learning phase for me, learning phase for Asad. Fast forward 2021, K9 approached me, Fahad and Majdi. I don't know if you know them.
I know Fahad. Like, isn't it concerning
The
guy?
concerning guy.
Isn't it concerning guy? Yeah.
Correct. So he approached me back in 21 when he used to be putting up content as the Jinn. So he was a Jinn on his social media page.
I didn't know about that.
Oh, yeah,
Alright,
yeah. When he approached me at that time, I was like, I don't know if I can trust this guy to do my content, right? But since 2021 until today, 2024, Asad and Fahad are a part of, are a very big part of where I am today. They approached me.
All through social media.
Correct. And they're still with me for all these years. So, yes, since the time that I started social media, 2021,
All right. Till now,
I have never had to make a phone call.
just because of social media.
Everything comes in from social media.
That's amazing. That's. I remember you seeing your first ad. It was sponsored, and it was. I mean, it was about the Harley. Like you were in a car, and then you jumped in the car. The Harley. It was a cool idea, man. Like I was this guy, and I was like, oh, he's the guy from Miras Stand in Emirates Mall, and I directly followed you from those days. By the way,
Amazing.
from those days.
Amazing.
Okay, but regardless of social media, there is a lot of platforms lately that are like. I mean, everything is digitalized.
Yeah.
We were talking about Beirut, like the
Property Finder,
Property
Dubizzle.
Finder, and all of that. Do you think this is threatening for like agents and realtors, or do you think is a plus for them? You think it's a help, or it's gonna take their jobs one day?
When you're buying product, it's people buying from people. So no matter which platform comes out with whatever AI and whatever you want to call it, at the end of the day, you still need someone to negotiate with someone in order to close the transaction,
Yeah.
right? For example, if I came into Louis Vuitton that day and if there was not you and there was AI or a robot there, I'd still want to speak with someone to get their opinion.
You need a human experience.
Exactly. People buy from people, right? People
Yeah.
don't buy the product. Okay, yes, product is the end goal. That's the final result or whatever. But when it comes to buying from a seller, you need to have someone who's going to negotiate for you.
True. I mean, we're waiting for AI to reach that level, but I'm afraid.
I think we'll be long gone by then.
I mean, I would be dead by then. I mean, you can never know, huh? You can never know. Maybe after 5 years, Elon Musk do something, and then
Of course. With the way they're advancing, I'm sure
Yeah.
they'll do pretty well. But I don't think you're going to take away the job of the broker, at least not for the next decade. I don't think so.
Okay. All right, that's nice. But regardless of the if we come back to social media, I mean, regardless of the humor side or the comedy that you use in your content, like what are the key points that you focus on to create engaging content that, like you said, since you started this, you never had to make a phone call, which is such a relief, as we all know. Other key points that helps you to create engaging content, except of the comedy, of course. There are things you can add.
I don't know. I just try to put out, I want to say, genuine or informative content. What a lot of people do is they'll walk into a house, show the house, tell you the price, and that's the end of it. But all the portals are already doing that, right?
It's cliche.
Property Finder is showing you what the property looks like. So you don't need someone to walk around with a camera on social media. We get onto social media to relax, to refresh ourselves,
True.
to get away from the hustle of the world.
True, yeah.
So what we thought back in the day was, we don't want to dance on social media because we're selling assets that are for people who are probably millionaires and above, right?
Yeah.
These kind of people don't want to be sold jokes to. When they're talking about real estate investment assets, they know that I'm spending anywhere between $1 million to probably 150 million dirhams.
All right.
I don't want to deal with a joker, 100%. But I like a guy who has a sense of humor, who can bring it to the table, but also know his shit. So someone who knows his stuff and is fun to deal with, and he's very casual. He's not trying to sell me anything.
There's
So-
no with a suit. Like
No,
what we
don't
saw
get me
every day.
wrong. Don't get me wrong, man. A lot of people appreciate a guy in a well-dressed suit,
Even in social media.
even on social media, because when you see someone on social media, is the person you want to meet in person,
All
right?
right.
if their style is wearing a suit, that's great. A lot of people choose to wear suits because it does look good.
Okay, it gives more seriousness to the person.
Correct. It's more professional.
Yeah.
But for me, for some reason, from day one, I didn't really want to wear suits in the longer run. I did wear suits and ties for a very, very long time. And that's when I decided, you know what? I need to shift a little bit.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes. And then
And
we
how
tried
did it
that.
go?
You tell
Amazing.
me.
Look, if I want to add something on what you just said. Like what I see interesting about your content is that, regardless of the humor and how casual it is, you also use inbound marketing. So what you do is actually you inform people for free about real estate. You give those advice in a very cool way, in a very fun way, and I think that's it's another key or another secret in your success on Instagram. And I know in the future it will be more success. Okay, so if we want to talk a little bit about real estate, like out of social media, and we come back to the real estate in the region as well, how do you feel what's going on in the world, the global situation that's going on, like starting from Corona till today, and what's like there's a little bit of problems in this region, as we all know. How is it affecting real estate, or is it affecting real estate primarily?
I just want to recap a little bit. With the way Dubai has set itself up in the past 25, 30 years, anytime there's any form of instability,
Yeah.
anywhere across the globe, everyone's automatically attracted to Dubai. So yes, whatever happens anywhere in the world, economic instability, educational instability, healthcare instability, or wars in the region, taxation, whatever you want to call it, everything brings people back into this city.
That's what happened in Corona, by the way.
Happened in Corona. Happened in the Russia war.
Yeah, all the Russians are coming here now.
It's happening. What's happening right now in the neighborhood? Our Asian economies are already going down. We know that. You know, where I come from, India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, whatever you want to call it. Europe, UK economies are already down. The countries are not safe anymore. Right? In the UK, you can't walk around the streets with a nice watch on your wrist. Your arm will get chopped off. Right?
A lot of clients, they tell me that, like in the store in Louis Vuitton, they tell me like the blessings here is that you can walk and you can feel completely safe. So what you're telling me, Zoheb, is that what's the negative things that are happening in the globe are somehow affecting positively Dubai. Because people are jumping in somehow to Dubai because it's safe, and it's like a safe heaven in the middle of all this chaos that's happening in the world.
Because Dubai gives you everything.
Yeah, in a way, like for me, that's what I understand. And
it gives you everything on a gold platter. It says, you want it, you're welcome, please come. We'll make sure you're fine. We'll make sure you're good. Leave your bag with, I don't know, your Richard meal on the table. It's okay.
Outside,
no one's going to steal
bring it back to you.
Exactly. You know, like, this is why we appreciate the city, right? All government entities work together.
True. I mean, I cannot imagine myself living in another city. I mean, if it's not Dubai.
True.
So basically, there is a lot of misconceptions about real estate in Dubai. I mean, a lot of things that wishy-washy things that we hear in the background. I mean, what's the biggest one, or like if you, on the top of your head, what's the biggest misconception that you think there is about real estate in Dubai?
70% profit in the first year.
Okay, that's a lie. That's a big lie. Okay, other than that, like, is there other misconceptions except the? I mean, we all hear about those lies in the market, but is there other misconceptions? Like, not only from the side of the buyers, even from the side of the people who want to jump into real estate as like agents.
The thing is that on social media we make it look very easy.
Okay.
Right? Because I have tried. It's practically impossible to showcase the life of a real estate broker every day on a day-to-day basis. The number of things that an individual does every single day to complete their entire day is not easy at all. So the misconception is that we make it look like it's very easy with our flashy cars and our flashy watches and all the outfits that you see on people. But you have to understand that that individual who has reached a certain stage in his life has probably worked for the past 10, 12 years to reach where he is.
10, 12 years.
At least 5 to 10 years. And people only see it today.
Yeah, oh, okay, I'm gonna jump, and after 1 year, I'm a
People don't
millionaire.
see the past 5 to 10 years, right? And let's be realistic. I'm not going to put it up on social media that, oh, today I'm so depressed. I don't feel like leaving the house. I'm sad. I didn't get any work done.
Yeah.
We don't put that up on social media because social media is not welcoming of that. I have bad days as well. I have down days as well. But you won't see me post a picture of myself looking all sad on social, right?
Yeah, of course, of course. I mean, the majority of people, I know some people they do, by the way, some influencers. It's not a trend. I don't want to call it a trend, but it's a new way to be real on social media. I have a friend, by the way, who's an influencer in Algeria, and and when he posts a piece of content where he's talking about his down moment, and you can see he's truthful about it. Believe me, people relate to that, and I think it's something that you like as us as humans we need to put in social media to connect better. But like that's not our subject. So people they don't see the struggle, they don't see the bad days, they don't see all the blood and sweat that a real estate agent or realtor go through in order to reach that level. Well, talking about that, like what advice you can give to the people who recently start real estate or the people who are thinking to start a real estate career, like me, for example, if I want.
It's not easy.
Well, I know that like nothing good comes easily. I'm sure about this.
But I mean, I'll be realistic with you, and I've been fond of you. I mean, we met 5 years ago, and we connected the other day in Dubai Mall, and now I see you sit here across the table with me. It's very easy to say the lines that it's not easy, but actually going through it year by year, day by day, month by month, really takes a toll on one's mental health, right?
Oh, all right.
Because what we do on a day-to-day basis involves 90% of the day as rejection and maybe 10% of the day as acceptance, or you get lucky, like you want to call it. So a lot of agencies do cold calls, right? Your job is to show up every morning. Here's a sheet of 200 numbers. Start dialing.
That's the traditional way.
That's the traditional way of doing things. And that's how, I want to say, 95% real estate agencies in Dubai survive. So they start calling. There's rejection, 20 calls done, all rejected, 30 calls done, 50 calls done. You continuously get rejections because cold calling is illegal. Nobody wants to have a cold
calling is illegal.
In Dubai, yes, it is.
Oh my God, I didn't know that. Okay.
So if someone complains about you or your agency to RERA, you can get a fine of up to 50,000 dirhams for a single cold call.
I didn't know that, man. That's scary for new agencies.
It's scary for anyone and everyone. That's why we've had a zero cold call policy from day one.
So in your agency, there's no cold calls.
You can ask any of my 7 agents. Not a single person has made a cold call.
So you guys are the new, like you're following the new ways of real estate. You're not a traditional real estate agency.
We're trying to be different because I understand. The reason why we have done zero cold call policy in our office is because when I go to meet a client or when one of my agents goes to meet a client, it's very important for the mind to be fresh, right?
All right.
When you meet someone first, would you rather be greeted as, hey, how's it going? Or would you rather be greeted as, hi, Waleed, how are you doing?
Obviously
the first one, right? Yeah. So if you're constantly going to be doing cold calls throughout the day with rejection after rejection after rejection, you're going to be down.
You'll be drained, yeah.
You will be down no matter what you do. You pop 2 Red Bulls, I don't care what you do. You sit across the table with someone, hello, Mr. Waleed, how are you doing today?
Like you instantly feel that person.
You are going to be down, period. Unless you have some superhuman strength that, you can still go out there and meet, hey, Waleed, how's it going?
Very rare people, they have that resiliency.
Correct.
Or maybe after a while, you'll be desensitized from that and you can like just handle rejection easily. But if I have another question. If there is an agency or a real estate agent, let's say, and he's using both traditional and modern way of collecting leads, if you can give a percentage on which way will like, let's say, is the traditional way will give him 50% and the modern way will give him 50% leads, or one way is better than the other way? What do you think about that? What's percentage you can give?
I can't comment on the percentage, but I'll tell you what I did.
All right.
Between 2019 and 2020, 2 years, I used to make about 180 cold calls per day.
180 cold calls per day. Oh my God. Okay.
Every single day for the whole 2 years. Okay? Every single day. Every 5 to 6 months, I'd have 1 or 2 transactions from those cold calls. So it isn't that cold calls don't work.
1 to 2 transactions out of, oh my God, that's.
Every 5 to 6 months.
I'm bad in math, but is it less than 1%?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
Okay, so I did that for 2 years.
Mm.
And that's when I realized that this is probably not the way to go. Now, you know how I used to do it? I used to get to the office by 8 a.m. By 8:30, I'd start calling people because people are in the car.
Yeah.
So they have time. So
Especially
they'll
if
probably
there's
speak to
traffic,
me.
at least
They're
they're
stuck in
talking,
traffic.
yeah.
They'll be like, okay, you know what? Let me humor myself.
Mm.
Talk to this guy. Spend 20 minutes.
Especially that ZOHEB is a funny guy.
I probably don't have money to buy a house, but you know what? I'll just chit chat for the heck of it because
Yeah.
there's no one else who wants to talk to me.
Mm.
Right? And I'd finish up by 7 p.m. And at 7, I'd go to a restaurant or a bar. I'd pour me a drink. I'd open up my laptop, plug in my headphones, and I'd start calling people. Because after 7 o'clock, people are again back in the car, going back home. So 7 to 8, 8:30, people are driving back home. I have that 1.5 hour window. I'd continue calling until 9 p.m. because that's when people are already probably home, chilling with their kids, watching TV or doing whatever.
And is it that this time is better than the morning time, or vice versa? Like which?
I wouldn't know because
Alright.
I felt like I was a machine just doing this every
Yeah,
single
you're
day.
just like robotically. Yeah.
Correct. After this, what I started doing was networking. I started going around different places. I used to go to events. I used to get onto, I don't know, what's that, Meetup app or whatever
Yeah.
that used
But
to
is
be.
is it you're still talking about the traditional way, because
Of
networking
course.
is considered traditional.
Correct. I'm only
Okay.
talking traditional. And this
Yeah.
is what I used to do back in the
Alright,
day. That's
cool.
why I can't
Yeah.
comment on other agencies or other agents.
Yeah.
And when I started networking, my rejections were lesser.
Hmm.
I was able to build more connects. I was not calling 200 people and getting 197 rejections and 3 connections.
Yeah.
But when I was networking, I was meeting 20 and 5 were okay with talking to me. So you see my numbers just doubled.
So networking was better than.
So for me, networking worked. And that's when I realized, forget this sheet. I'm going to be out and about every single day doing my thing. And I used to go to multiple places, meet multiple people, connect with them, exchange business cards, get their numbers, put them on my broadcast list, and so on and so forth.
Socializing.
Exactly.
That's a good way for the extroverts.
Because when you call someone, they don't know who you are.
True.
But when you're face to face, you're not going to say, hey, please get out of here. No, you'll hear me for 2 minutes. You'll be like, okay, bro, I have to rush. Talk to you
Yeah.
later. Or you'll probably be interested in what I'm saying. You might not be a buyer, but you might have a friend who's a buyer.
True. True.
And that's when I realized
So
that
this is
the
the
way to go.
traditional way. And then when I remember you telling me about Fahad approaching you and Asad and all of that, and it was the time where you switched to the modern way. How that played, and are you coming back to the traditional ways now? Is it better with the modern ways? Obviously it is, but I want to hear from you.
When Fahad approached me in 2021, I used to, from 2019, Instagram had introduced stories
Yeah.
in 2019. And I used to post a lot of stories every single day. Excuse me.
It's okay.
Not about my life or anything, but I used to pick a project and I dive in deep into the project. That time we were selling La Mer, which
La Mer,
is
huh?
next to the beach. And I dive in building number so-and-so, apartment number so-and-so is interesting to look at. Here's the floor plans. And I'd show everything on the camera. And every day I'd post like 20 stories. And people would be like, what are you doing, bro? No one's watching this, you know. Like social media is for food pictures, for couples to see other couples on holiday and get jealous.
And teenagers.
And kids dancing around, right?
Yeah.
So for some reason I was like, no, I'm just going to keep going at it. And I went at it for a while. And this is where Fahad and Majdi, they found me and they sent Majdi and this one little girl who was probably 21 years old or 20 years old. And they were like, we want you to get onto TikTok. Even though I was such a believer of social media, I said, no, TikTok is for kids to dance on, so I'm not getting onto TikTok. But obviously they were persistent and they said, no, we want you on there. I said, okay, remove a budget for 6 months. They're not cheap back in the day when I'm only doing 2 transactions per every 6 months maybe.
I understand that, yeah.
But of course I took a risk and we made it happen. So
Alright.
obviously the
your,
modern ways, man, anytime.
That was your
Anytime.
transition to the
For sure.
Yeah, to the modern ways of doing it.
But I
mean,
still
yeah.
recommend networking heavily.
You still network now?
I still network.
You still network, and
every time.
Now you use all the channels. No need like networking, social media, but no cold calls.
For me,
obviously.
networking has become a lot more easier now.
Of course, experience and.
No, not just experience. Because of my presence on social media,
Oh, and that's another one, yeah.
it's a lot more easier to interact with people and to speak with people. So this is what I've done with my team. All 7 of them produce content. Every single day, one video goes out. And that's been my policy with the team.
So even your team, they're following your footsteps, you know. They're
I am
doing
making sure they follow my footsteps.
That's amazing. All right. So also I want to ask you about like talking about your team and the real estate industry. A real estate agent or a realtor in Dubai versus a real estate agent in the rest of the world or the rest of the globe. Is it the same skill set needed? What's make a real estate agent in Dubai different than the other real estate agents outside of Dubai and the rest of the world? Or is it the same thing?
No, I don't think there is.
So you think if somebody work as a real estate agent in Dubai, it's going to be easy for him working outside, and vice versa? If somebody worked outside, I don't know, in Europe as a real estate or in Asia, and he wants to come and work as a real estate agent in Dubai, it would be easy for him because he already have the experience.
No, of course not. Of course, that in that aspect, it would not be easy because you have to unlearn what the systems are in your country.
Yeah.
And you'd have to relearn or learn everything from start in this new country. Also, bear in mind, Dubai is a very vibrant market. Dubai is a very aggressive market. Dubai probably has, 50 to 100,000 brokers in the city when there's only this much product.
Yeah. True.
Whereas maybe in other countries across the globe, it's not the same ratio.
It's the opposite sometimes.
Probably.
Yeah.
So to unlearn that conventional way of doing things to coming here and working in this super aggressive market, it would be a total game changer. They would have to learn everything from start. So no, it would not be easy at all.
And is aggressive even in terms of clients. Sometimes the way the clients talk sometimes here is different than, like if somebody came from a culture where it's very, how can I put it into words, which is very, let's say, I don't want to say fragile, let's say very polite. And he comes to Dubai, you have a lot of ethnicities, you have different cultures. So sometimes people, they get offended by other clients, and in that the clients is just maybe in a hurry, or this is the way he speaks. So some people, they are not used to that. So that's what I noticed even in other industries like the luxury retail as well. And talking about this, I mean, what's the psychology of the typical real estate clients in the UAE? I mean, I'm talking about Dubai, but what I mean, each time I say Dubai, I mean the UAE. So what's the psychology of the clients as per your experience? I mean, what you can say about that?
I'll come back to this. I want to add to what you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
You know how some agents get offended as to, oh, this client spoke to him in certain manner because they're all different ethnicities. One and only most important thing, you're in sales. Leave your feelings at home.
You're right.
It's very simple.
Totally
Don't
right.
come out and be like, oh, this guy spoke to me like this, and you know what? He didn't even wait for me to come. Nah, bro, you're in sales.
But I think the only way to go through this, the only way to keep your feelings at the door, because I'm also from a sales background, you have to go through it. You have to get those cuts.
For sure.
And then
that's
one day somebody will insult you and you'll be like, okay, like no feelings.
Yeah.
Somehow it's making us sort of semi-sociopaths. We don't have feelings, but the only way to leave your feelings is to go through it. Going through it and getting your feelings hurt again.
And the
again
earlier
and again.
you learn, the better it is for you.
Sorry?
The earlier you learn,
Yes.
the better it is.
The earlier, I mean, I see some ladies, especially the ladies in the sales industry. Oh my God! I mean, I work with a lot of ladies, and you on weekly basis you see some tears. They go back in the back room, and they cry. Some guys sometimes, some me in my beginnings, I used to get offended, and when I come back home, for me I don't cry, but when I come back home before I sleep, these things come back to my head. And you go through a phase where you hate humanity. It's like this humanity, I regret becoming a human. And then you just understand. And when you are also a client in a coffee shop or a store, and you see the salesperson, somehow you have empathy with them because you've been in their shoes before.
I know.
That's what I realized.
I know.
But coming back to the psychology of this, because some clients are psychos, some clients are nice. I mean, I want to ask you, like, you told me you're gonna come back to this. Like, in general, what's the psychology, or what are the tendencies of a typical UAE real estate clients? And if there is more than one type, I mean, if you have like segregation in your head, or like classes of clients in real estate in your head, like, I'll be happy to hear it. Like to emphasize, like for example, the off-plan client, the secondary market client, the client who's buying to as an investment, the client who's buying to live in the apartment. I mean, that's what I want to hear. Like, and each one of them, how is his or her, I mean, psychology.
I mean, of course.
Or if there is a specific type of clients that you find them a little bit peculiar, like, or special, that you want to talk about.
I think every client has the right to be the way they are. And I'll tell you why. So you have the first time investor who is, I want to be cautious with my money. I want to make sure I'm working with the right real estate agent. And I'm probably going to speak to 30 of them before I find the one.
All right.
And that's normal.
Okay.
Right? And it's something that us agents need to understand, because a random person who doesn't know you is going to trust you with his 3 million dirhams to buy him a townhouse. Right? Then you have the first time home buyer.
The first time ever buyer and the first time home buyer, which means
a family home for themselves.
For themselves.
User, like how we call end user or a home owner. That person is probably going to see 30 houses as well. Because you know what? My family is going to grow into this over the next 3 decades. So I need it to be perfect. And again, that's considered normal. Agents should understand that the first-time investor is going to look at 30 agents before he decides who he wants to work with, because he's putting in so much money.
Cool.
It's not your money. You have no rights on it. It's his money. He decides who takes it and puts it where. Same way with the first-time home buyer, right? Off-plan investor, same concept. We need to understand that it's their money. Their mentalities are going to be all different types, because you said earlier, we work with over 200 plus nationalities.
True.
Everyone thinks differently. Everyone's been brought up differently. I can't say that, this is right and that is wrong. Everyone has their ways. Some people are hustlers. They like to put in $1 million and they want to see quick returns, that, okay, you know what? I'll buy into the Royal Atlantis for 7 million. I only put down, let's say, 30%. Once it's ready, it'll be 50% payment. And probably by the time it's ready, I'll double my money. It's happened, right? Those are the hustler investors. They will go in without doing too much thinking. There are some guys who buy abruptly like that.
Because they're used to it.
Correct. They're used to it. They've made good money in the past. They say, okay, this is my disposable income. Let me try my luck. But then you have also the first-time investor who's going to talk to 30 different people.
What about the secondary market? Do you feel like there is... I mean, first of all, I have a question, and then we're going to come back to this. Like, between the off-plan investors or the off-plan deals that are happening in DLD, like each week we hear those big numbers, versus the secondary market investors, do you feel like... What I know is that there is more off-plan than secondary market. But is it changing? Do you think in the future there will be more people who are interested in the secondary market than the off-plan market?
I don't know if I can comment on that, whether it will be more or less. But there will always be that investor who has the appetite to deal with off-plan. Off-plan is a much bigger risk. Off-plan is also continuously paying money and not receiving anything for a period of 1, 2, or 3 years, because that's how long it takes the building to come up,
Mm.
right? And secondary is more safer investor, because I put money today, I start to see money from tomorrow.
Cool.
So I can't really judge whether this will increase or that will go
as per your
down.
experience or your numbers, you sell more off plan than secondary market, or vice versa. I mean, if you can answer this. It's
Yeah,
totally
of
up
course.
to you.
No, I am more of a. I attract more investors than I attract homeowners or end users. So I deal with majority is off plan.
Because you attract investors, and investors go for off plan.
A lot of my investors prefer to go with off plan, but my team is designed in such a manner that if there is a requirement for a specific type of product, we are able to source it. Plus, I also use a lot of my social media to attract other agents
Yeah.
who have what I'm looking for without having to cold call.
Yeah.
And I put it up on my stories, and
And
within
you
a
do the
matter
deal.
of minutes, I start receiving listings. And we work with every agent in the market. We're totally
Yeah.
okay. They're in the same industry as us.
Yeah, agent to agent, as you guys call it.
A to A.
Yeah, A to A. Also, like you talked about your clients and the investor that you attract and all of that. But how you keep that relationship with the clients? Like how you can, I mean, other than the trust that we spoke about earlier, how you can keep a long-term relationship with your investors or with your clients?
Very good question. Loyalty, as we call it, works two ways. I keep good with you,
Mhm.
and you keep good with me. Right? That's how friendship works.
Yeah, how
Right?
Okay,
I want to
yeah.
hang out, you will come hang out with me. Whenever you want to hang out, I'll come hang out with you. Similarly, in real estate, how we build loyalty is that you buy a property, great. You bought it with us, no problem. 2 months later, ZOHEB, can you arrange the statement of accounts for me? Yes, boss, not a problem. I'll get it sorted out. Tell my admin guy, he gets a statement of accounts sorted out. 1 month later, ZOHEB, they messaged me that the sale purchase agreement is ready. Can you collect it, keep it with you? When I fly down, I'll come and take it from you. No problem, boss. I'll get it collected. ZOHEB, they called me for the handover of the apartment. Can you go snag it? You do the snagging as the checking
Yeah.
of the apartment. No problem, boss. I'll get it sorted out. 1 week later, okay, snagging is done. Take the handover. ZOHEB, I'm sending you a power of attorney just to go take the keys. Can you put it on rent? Yes, boss. Done deal. No problem. That's where I build my loyalty and my trust with my client. I go with them all the way. Oh, 1 year later, ZOHEB, can you sell it for me? Yeah, for sure. I'll sell it for you. No problem. Let's put it up in the market. I'll share it
So this
across
is
my
where the
network.
loyalty is coming back to you, because the client is also loyal to you because he chooses you. You're the person who sold it for him, and you're the person who's buying it for him.
Plus, I also take care of him through the journey. When he wants to sell it, the first person that comes to mind is ZOHEB. So I make money even on the sale, maybe
True.
after a year and a half.
Yeah.
But he
Interesting.
still thinks of me first, like I said in friendship,
Yeah, it's friendship.
right?
All right.
So that's how it works.
Cool. Also, like, in your experience, like, if you remember the hardest client or the most, let's say, crazy clients you dealt with, without saying his name, of course, or her name.
No, I can't name anyone.
Of course. Like, how was the experience with this client, the most badass client or the hardest clients that you dealt with, and how did you handle him? If you can remember an anecdote like that or like an experience.
I'm trying to think of the hardest client I ever dealt with.
I remember all of them, by the way.
Shit.
I mean, maybe like a client who started hard and in the end of the day or after a while, you guys became friends. I mean, usually there is a lot of clients that the beginning with them is wrong and somehow they become your best clients. I mean, if you...
Actually, I don't think I can think of any, because whoever has transacted with me,
Yeah.
I don't think they were my hardest clients. But yeah, there were some dodgy clients sometimes who eventually did transact with us, and then they stayed long term. But can't think of any difficult clients.
All right. So, yeah. And, okay, counterpart. Like, what's your most successful moment or the moment that you are proud of in all your experience as a real estate agent or a realtor? Like, what's
What's
the best memory you have in this field?
Well, there was one recently that just happened about a year ago, I think, or 6-8 months ago. I had this one client who walked into my office. I'd never met him before, but he has been following me through social media. Very nice couple. In their home country, they run their own Airbnb business, as
Alright.
well as they do a lot of e-commerce. He walked into my office. He sat with me for about half an hour, 45 minutes. I did my presentation the way I usually do. I have this massive screen on which I run the map of Dubai and I showcase everything. And right there and then he's like, okay, I have 1.5 million that I want to invest in the Dubai property market. What would you advise? So I picked up the project. I selected a particular unit. I put it up on the screen. And he said, okay, fine. You're sure about this one? I said, yeah, I'm sure about this one. He's like, cool. Can we make the payment?
Instant, like this.
30 minutes.
That was your best experience.
30 minutes. He's like, I'm like, okay, are you sure you want to make the payment now? Should we go and see the developer's office, you know?
Oh, without seeing nothing, just in the screen.
He was just in my office for 30 minutes. I do my presentation. He says, what do you recommend? I picked up the product. I put it in front of him. I say, I select this particular 1-bedroom or 2-bedroom apartment that I believe in. What do you think? He's like, sure, okay, it makes sense. Can I make the payment now? And I called up the developer. I said, can you send the payment link? He sent the payment link. We made the payment right there and then. After that day till today, he's bought over 25 apartments with me on the phone.
Beautiful. That's interesting.
So this is one of
I
my
mean, all the
easiest
salespeople,
clients.
all salespeople, we love the fast clients who decide they trust you, they know that you know what you're doing, and they just go for it.
But I want to correct you here. I would not say he was the fastest client.
Oh,
He was the slowest client because he saw me on social media for the past year and a half till he built
Alright.
his trust with me
through social media.
through social media.
That's a very interesting nuance.
And that is why it took him only 30 minutes to transact on
Say
the
yes.
table.
The power of social media, everyone. Okay, excluding Dubai, that's just few questions that they are in my head that I wanted to know about from your perspective. Excluding Dubai and Abu Dhabi, which is the best emirate you can advise for real estate investment?
You're going to put me in trouble with the other Emirates. For me, my loyalty stays with Dubai.
Yeah.
Right? I have grown up in Sharjah in the first 10 years of my life. When I came here at the age of 8 until probably, I don't know, 15, 17, 18. But I just say one thing. If a tourist comes to the UAE for 7 days, he wants to visit all the Emirates, but obviously Dubai has the most activity. Where are they going to stay?
I mean, I say Abu Dhabi.
No, if Dubai has most of the activity,
Yeah.
like you have the Frame, you have the Museum of the Future, you have Burj Khalifa, you have Atlantis, you have Royal Atlantis, you have, I don't know, Wild Wadi, you have IMG, you have Global Village.
As a tourist, you mean?
As a tourist. So you will stay in Dubai.
Yeah.
You make a day trip to Abu Dhabi. You make a day trip to Ras Al Khaimah. Check out the beaches over there. But you still come back and live in Dubai.
Yes.
So for me, there is no other emirate that I advise my investors to invest in except for Dubai.
Even if somebody tell you, oh, look, Zoheb, I want to try another Emirates, you will not, you tell him no.
I advise him.
Like okay, let's say Dubai, Abu Dhabi, what you put in the third spot to make it easy for you to answer this?
Dubai, Abu Dhabi, probably Ras Al Khaimah.
Ras Al Khaimah, third spot. I would say the same. I love Ras Al
Yeah.
Khaimah. I visited all the time. All right, there is a small Q&A challenge. Not a Q&A, like it's like a fast answer. It's like something versus something, and I want to know what you think about it. And it's gonna be something that I'm gonna do it with all my guests, and
do it.
just to see what they like in Dubai.
Let's go.
So we start, but the chat is quite of a challenge, but you just need to answer like as fast as you can.
Okay,
As soon
sounds
as
good.
I'm gonna ask it slowly so you can answer it fast.
No problem. Let's go.
All right, we're gonna start with real estate because we're talking about it today.
Okay.
So, Emar or Shoba,
Shoba.
Damak or Danube,
Damak.
Miras or Nakhil,
Nakhil.
Azizi or Mag.
Mag.
All right, that's.
You're going
that's
to put me in
realistic.
trouble with so many
No,
developers.
I'm very
man.
sorry, but that we need to know your honest opinion. Now we're gonna jump to Dubai because we're in Dubai. I just want to know your
Dubai.
like what you like about Dubai, what you usually go for, what Zoheb usually go for.
Okay, sounds good.
Do or Etisalat,
Etisalat.
Emirates Airlines or Etihad Airways,
Etihad.
Dubai Mall or Mall of the Emirates,
Mall of the Emirates. Hate Dubai. Too much traffic.
The Walk, JBR or City Walk.
JBR.
MBD or FAB?
What's that?
MBD Bank or
Neither.
neither? So what do you go for, by the way? Just
I bank with Abu Dhabi Commercial and Standard Chartered Bank.
perfect. Okay, Dubai Marina or downtown?
Downtown.
Downtown. Uber or Careem?
Uber. Kareem always cancels.
Talabat or Deliveroo?
Deliveroo.
Deliveroo. Okay.
I have a lot of people hating on me for that.
All right. Wild Wadi Water Park or Atlantis Water Park?
I haven't been to either, but I'd say Wild Wadi since it's the oldest.
I've been in both of them. I go with Atlantis. I prefer Atlantis. Yeah,
we'll
it's
try
bigger.
that out.
Yeah. Starbucks or Arabica? Which
Neither.
coffee? And I'm not talking about the venue. I'm talking about which coffee you like here.
I did Starbucks until what started happening in the neighborhood. So I stopped that and I just try to go with alternatives. Caribou, Paul.
Try Arabica.
Whatever.
You love it more.
I have.
It's too strong, maybe. All right. G-Wagon or Range Rover SVR?
G-Wagon.
Because you have one, maybe. The last one. iPhone or Samsung?
iPhone. Shit. Goes without saying, bro.
Anyways, before we finish the podcast, do you own real estate in Dubai?
Of course. I have a golden visa. Shit.
That's beautiful. ZOHEB, it was amazing.
Thank you.
I there was a lot of insights and information I got from you. You know, in the end of any podcast on Checked, we say the name of the person we checked. So ZOHEB, checked.
Check. Awesome. Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
You're welcome, brother. Welcome, brother. So we're done.